Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Here are some applications of the demand and supply analysis. That how whenever some component of the demand or some component of the supply has been changed, what will be the impact on the market, and being a manager, what will be your decision regarding seeing that what will be happen in the future. You can perceive that and you can forecast it, and you have to make decisions according to that. For example, this is an example that VSA reports that the prices of the PC components expected to fall by 5 to 8% over the next 6 months. Now, there is a report that is going to say that the components, that for example the motherboard and the keyboard and the screens, the prices of the components which are being used in the composition or the production of the personal PCs, they will be going to decrease by the 5 to 8% over the next 6 months. Now, the scenario one is that you manage a small firm that manufactured the PC. It means what will be you do perceiving that the prices of the components of the PC are going to fall within the next 6 months. And the scenario 2 is that you manage a small software company. The first thing is that you are going to manufacture PCs, and the second situation is that you are the owner or you are the manager of the small software company. Now we are going to analyze these scenarios one by one. Scenario 1 is the implication for the small PC maker. So we have to look at the big picture, that how the demand and supply in the market are going to move, and you have to go for the decision by analyzing that big picture, and you have to organize and you have to make an action plan. You have to worry about the details. Look about the smaller details like that. Impact of the decline in the component prices of the PCs. Now the situation is that this is the prices of the PC and this is the quantity of the PC. Now components prices of the PC means that they are the inputs being used in the production of the PC. If the input prices has been decreased, then there will be the positive impact on the supply of the pieces. It will be much easier, much feasible for the firms to produce more PCs as compared to the earlier situation, because of the fact the inputs are being available to them at the much lower price. For that reason, they will supply more, and whenever they are going to supply more, the supply curve is going to move in this direction, resulting that this is the new equilibrium point, and at new equilibrium point the prices have been reduced and the quantity has been increased. You can see like this, the prices has been decreased and the quantity has been increased overall in the market. Now in this situation, when you see that the prices will decrease, what will you do in this scenario? Now, equilibrium price of the pieces will fall and the equilibrium quantity of the consumer sold will increase. Now, use this to organize an action plan. It means you have to contract with your suppliers, you have to make up the inventories, you have to stock up the goods, you should have the human resources because you are going to produce more. You have to do the marketing in this relevance. And do I need the quantitative estimates? Quantitative estimates means by 1% decrease in the price of the product, how much of the quantity of your product is going to increase. That is going to measure that we are going to measure with the help of the elasticity concept, which we will discuss within the next chapter. Now the scenario 2 is that software makers. Now, if the prices of the components of the pieces have been decreased, it means the supply of the pieces will increase, and when there will be more pieces in the market, the demand of your product will also increase, because softwares and the pieces are considered as the complements of each other. More complicated chain of the reasoning to arrive the big picture. Step 1, use the analysis like the scenario 1 to deduce that the lower component prices will lead a lower equilibrium price for the computers, a greater number of the computers sold. And how this greater number of the computers sold is going to affect your software market. It means the demand of your softwares is going to increase. It means that demand increase, price increase, and quantity is going to increase like this. It means by seeing at the analysis, seeing at the big picture, we can make decisions according to that. and this is the objective of the manager. That means the manager has to reach up the objective, he has to meet up the objective, and he has to make the policy action by keeping in view what the resources he have and how the resources to be used optimally to so that the objective could be achieved in a more rational way. So software prices are more likely to rise and more software will be sold, and use this to organize your action plan. So this is the end of the chapter. Was relevant towards the basics of demand and supply, in which we have analyzed what do you mean by the demand, what do you mean by the law of demand, how the consumer surplus is measured with the help of the demand curve, what are the demand shifters, what are the determinants of the demand curve. Then we have understand what you mean by the supply, what was the law of supply, what were the supply shifters, and how the concept of the producer surplus could be measured with the help of the supply curve. Then we discussed what you mean by the equilibrium state, what happens if the price in the market is less than the equilibrium price, it represents a shortage, and when what happens if the price in the market is greater than the equilibrium price, that represents the surplus. And then we have understood that what happens when someone is going to intervene into the market, and that someone is the government. Government intervened into the market in the form of some restrictions that are termed as the price controls. Price controls are classified into two types. One was the price ceiling and another one was the price floor. Price ceiling was that it is the legal maximum price that could be charged, and the price floor was that is the legal minimum price that could be charged into the market. So ceiling is the legal maximum, but it is always effective when it is leveled below the equilibrium price, and the floor is the legal minimum, but it is always effective when it is leveled above the equilibrium price. The effective ceiling always results into the shortage, and the effective floor always results into the surplus. And after that we have the comparative statistics. Comparative statistics means that how if the input prices change, how if the oil prices have changed, if the exchange rate has been changed, if the import prices have been changed, and how your analysis is going to happen. This change is going to affect what? Demand of the supply. If the demand of the supply has any one of them has been changed, then what will be the impact on the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. And from this comparative static analysis, you have to deduce, being a manager, that how you can save your position, how you can achieve your objective by keeping all the other limitations within your mind. So this is the end of the chapter. So we will discuss all the quantitative analysis within the next chapter, that is the chapter number 3. Till then, okay, Allah Hafiz.